I'm here today with Congressman Jack Bergman. Thanks for joining us, Congressman.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
So I'd like to start this by just asking you, what has it been like with your first experience as a freshman congressman?
By the way, I love to say my name and the word freshman in the same sentence because it's kind of like a new lease on life, but also as a freshman, I believe people give you certain latitudes that you are learning. And you can ask questions as a first-timer they're just honest questions because you've never been here before. The experience has been spectacular because of the fact that there are 54 freshmen congressmen in the 115th Congress, 29 Republicans, 25 Democrats, and right from the get-go, back in November when we went to orientation, we made a conscious effort across party lines to get to know each other, to find out where we had common ground to begin with. So because knowing that there were going to be tough issues we were going to have to deal with as Congress convened, that we could find, again, those common grounds as Democrats and Republicans, but all freshmen, to discuss sometimes, tough subjects but yet tough subjects that needed resolution.
You were also given a leadership role as the president of the Republican freshman class. Tell us about that experience.
Well, it was, number one, it wasn't something that I sought going there, but a couple of my freshman classmates asked me if I would consider running. They told me why. I said, okay. I was elected, but it gives me an opportunity then to help the freshman Republican class coalesce as a class, to kind of be their voice and organizer, and in some cases mentor, but it also gives me an opportunity to work with my co-presidents from the Democratic side to create that bipartisan effect that I think all the citizens of our country hope for and want people to reach across the aisle. So it was a little bit of a leadership position for me to facilitate that on the front end.
You talk a lot about reaching across the aisle, bipartisanship. What role do you hope that plays in Northern Michigan, where you come from?
Well, I represent everybody.
Okay.
Not everybody who voted in November voted for me, okay? But I represent everybody in the district, whether they voted for me or not, whether they voted or not. That's the job of representative. In fact, on my business card, it doesn't say congressman, it says representative, because I represent everyone. So it allows me, when I stop at the gas station, when I go to the town halls, no matter where it is, that I don't care who the person is that I'm interacting with, they know that I represent them. Whether we agree on something or disagree, they know that they've got a voice in Congress that's going to listen to them first.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about your role on the Natural Resources Committee. In this neck of the woods, environmental issues are of such a great concern to us. We have the Line 5 pipeline, Great Lakes funding. Have you seen much legislation come through during your time?
Not specifically in the natural resources arena yet. I'm on 3 committees, Budget, Veterans Affairs, and Natural Resources, and right now, the first couple of months here, we've been heavily involved with budget. But when you use the term neck of the woods, we're one of the few districts that it really means something. It's not just a euphemism, but when you think about the first district, and it's 2 geographically different districts connected by a bridge, our natural resources, whether they be, above the ground, in the water, below the ground, whatever it happens to be, are why we live here. So to be on the Natural Resources Committee really gives me an opportunity to advance the conservation, the utilization of our natural resources that allows us to create an economic environment here where people can come, live, get married, raise a family, and can complete the life cycle.
In terms of Great Lakes funding, what are your personal opinions? Where would you like to see that go?
Well, it's a $300 million budget line item that of that $300 million, there are over 3,500 individual budget line items within that. I guarantee you the vast majority of those dollars being expended are being put in the right place to preserve and restore everything from harbors to shorelines to work with invasive species, but in a fiscally constrained environment, which, in case anybody doesn't know, we have a budget crisis. We have some issues in this country. We're looking at everything to make sure that the dollars we spend going forward on issues like the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative are well spent, and those who are good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars really don't have to worry about funding. Areas where maybe money has been funneled down a black hole and not so well used, they should maybe have a little concern.
Thank you, Congressman. Next thing I wanted to talk about is your role on the Veterans Affairs Committee. Veterans serving veterans. What does your experience as having been the Lieutenant General of the Marine Corps have to do with the decisions that you make daily?
Well, number one, I look at the Veterans Affairs Committee as a veteran. So being one who could be the potential recipient of the services and the benefits that all our veterans have earned. And now they deserve to get those and get them in those services, especially when it comes to health care, in a timely manner. So not only as a member of the committee of the whole, I'm also a subcommittee chairman on investigations and oversight. Now, why that's important is, as you said, I was a lieutenant general in the Marines. I guess they figured a guy that, like me, would be the one they want to have the gavel when it comes to looking the VA folks in the eye and maybe poking them in the chest a little bit about what about this, and are we doing this, and are we doing it right? Are the veterans benefiting? So my military experience and rank have been definitely a positive when it comes to playing a very direct role in getting the Veterans Administration to move forward to benefit the veterans.
Great. You're in favor of the Essential Air Service program. Tell us about that decision.
Well, I am, because the fact is, that came into place back in the late 1970s when the Airline Deregulation Act came into place. But we have eight out of the 10 airports who serve the 1st District, receive Essential Air Services funding. And without that funding, we would lose potentially, strongly potentially, air service to Alpena, Pellston, the Sioux, I won't even name all the airports. Those essential air services, keyword, essential. If you think about it, a dollar that comes into one of these airports, Escanaba is an example, turns over 7 times before it leaves. So that person that flies in to Escanaba Airport is going to hand money to someone at a restaurant, a gas station, a hotel, a canoe rental, whatever. Without those essential air services dollars, those flights don't come in, those economic dollars don't come in. So we, as the 1st District of Michigan, we are utilizing those dollars to return economic dollars to the system. So for us, it works.
Thank you, Congressman. We're going to have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll be talking about the 2 town hall meetings that Jack Bergman held in Escanaba and Gaylord. Stay tuned.